Hey, this Angelo Ferrari's got a great attitude, by the way.
Angelo Ferrari loves the mat. And so go back to Buchanan. You asked about Buchanan. Why does he have a chance internationally? Because he loves the mat. Oh, he hasn't wrestled freestyle since he was a senior in high school. Doesn't matter. First of all, wrestling's wrestling. The thing about Buchanan is he understands that positioning in wrestling isn't just like finishing or hand fighting or like skill positions, but it's mat position, the center of the mat, edge of the mat, being pressure oriented or whatever, and realizing that mat positioning is as equal as wrestling positioning. So that's one reason. But the other reason is, and you mentioned Angelo Ferrari, and they're the same. They both love the mat. And, we have guys that, I'm probably very fond of personally, but they fell short because they worked hard to get off the mat as I did to get them on the mat. Let's say that. How about if we say it that way? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, I need a break. I need this. I need that. Well, Ferrari and Buchanan, they are on the mat and they love the mat. And that's why Buchanan has a chance to be very, very successful internationally. And that's why Ferrari, I said it earlier this year, and it made a lot of sense to myself when I said it, is he won't lose. I mean, he just won't lose. And sometimes that negative, and it's not negative in a bad way, but the negative, it's like a negative. You're doing a rep, and that, that's the positive, but the negative is the resistance on the way down. And the negative of, hating losing more than loving winning is probably more prevalent in Ferrari's mind than normal people that hate losing more than they love winning. Ferrari won't lose. He just won't lose. And that's not a prediction of me saying that he won't lose. I'm just talking about how he competes.
What was behind your decision to put him in the Penn State and the Oklahoma State match last year?
As a freshman, you have 5 dates. That's number 1. Actually, that's probably number 3. Number 2 would be, there's things going on behind the scenes with your lineup that, the public doesn't know and doesn't need to know and never will know. And then what's best for the starter. And then what's best for Angelo Ferrari's future, because he's going to factor in. And we never hid the fact that we're looking at him at 84 for the future. We never hid that fact. And we never hid the fact that he might be an option there, this year, meaning when he was a true freshman. But as time went by and it got later and later, it was more about just getting those 5 dates in. And then, you look at it like, what was the thought process? Well, you're going to a really tough environment in State College against a really tough opponent. And, let's see how you handle that. And then, you're going to wrestle Nebraska, you're going to wrestle, Ohio State in Carver Hawkeye Arena, or you're going to, wrestle Oklahoma State. And there's a little bit of personal, the Ferrari family lived in Stillwater. So, Angelo, when we talked, it was like, hey, let's wrestle Oklahoma State at home. And then the Iowa State meet too, don't forget about that. We put him out there as well. Those were big dual meets and big stages, and he never shied. He actually picked the toughest challenges. When you were talking to him, he was all about it.
How'd you feel about his performance?
I feel like the Penn State was an unbelievable learning experience, and you can point specifically to mat positioning. Just what I was talking about a little bit there, that mat positioning is so important, there. And then, Iowa State, that's November, that's a week before Thanksgiving, and he's not even a freshman, he's a young freshman. And, persevered there. And then, the Stillwater duel, the Oklahoma State duel in Carver Hawkeye Arena, that was a big match. I mean, that's a difference in the dual meet coming down the stretch there. And, you know what? All systems go. He put a dagger in his opponent.
Yeah.